Hi, I'm Sara Tetzloff, and so I'm going to tell you a little bit today about music, a life force, and I'm going to do that through talking a little bit about my journey through music and how that affected me. So, like many people, it started in my childhood, and one of my earliest memories of music is sitting in my grandmother's kitchen with my uncle and my cousins and my sister and my brother. And you can see us, we're holding maracas and shakers, and my uncle's playing guitar, and we're playing empty plastic tubs, whatever we can find, but just creating music together. And those types of experiences really nourished my childhood and launched me into this sort of addiction to music. And so after childhood, I found any way that I could to perform. So I joined band and choir, and I performed in musicals, and pretty much any way that I could be on stage. This feels a lot different than that kind of experience, but whatever, it's fine. So I did that, and it was always kind of like you're either going to do music or you're going to do the regular life stuff. And one goal of mine was to go to college. I'd be the first person in my family to graduate with a degree. And I found a way that I could do that, which was through the Wisconsin Army National Guard. I joined the band. I was in it for 6 years. It was a great experience. Also in college, I started a rock band, which was much more interesting, more fun. We started doing some really cool things, recording demos and EPs, touring regionally. It's around the time of Clear Blue Betty, actually, that same era. And things were going really well, but I realized that the guitarist and I had that kind of relationship where it was malfunctional, where it was like, the sex is really great, but you have nothing else in common. Metaphorically speaking, we weren't really, but it was like performing was really great, but the rest of it was really shitty. So I left the band, I went back to school, and I went back to a tech support job to help pay my way through school and did these, kind of normal, mundane things. And but then something else really amazing happened that kind of led me off the music path and onto the regular life path. And that thing is that I met my best friend. And although he's very musically inclined, he's not exactly the kind of person that was going to want to go touring around the country. So we had a good relationship, we got engaged, we got married, we bought a house. This is our kitchen remodel, literally gutted it down to the studs and started over. It was a great experience. But then even something more incredible happened, this little guy. And so he's almost 2. His name is Linus, and he's the most fun person I've ever been with. But I realized that even though that piece of the puzzle had completed this other path of my life, I still really miss performing. And I figured I could play rock band for the rest of my life and see if that would cut it. But I didn't think it would. So I started looking for other avenues to really get myself out there. That's when I met these crazy, talented characters back here, a bunch of old nerds. And I can say that because they're actually not here tonight, so they don't know any better. But anyway, we play in Marty, our bassist's basement, every week, and we play out sometimes. But really it's about, like the Fiddler Sisters said, we have a family together. And it's really about that, getting together, finding a reason to play. And so that's really incredible. But I wanted to put myself out there even further, and that's when I discovered this thing called Overture Rising Stars. You may have heard about it. It happened last year, and they had these 6 locations around the area where you could go. You could perform your 3 minutes of talent, and then you got judged, and either you made it through to the next round or you didn't. So I researched it a little bit, and I thought, okay, this looks like a legitimate thing. Some adults actually made it through. I should give it a shot. I showed up at my location, and of the 8 people in my group, I was the oldest person by almost twice as much of the age of the next oldest person. But I got up there, I played my guitar in front of anyone for the first time ever. I sang by myself for the first time in probably a decade, and I choked totally. Like, it was awful. And so I didn't make it through, but I was so proud of myself for putting myself out there and for finding this way to really bring music back into and intersect that with my other piece of my life. And so I continue to perform and continue to look for ways to perform. And I don't really know what the future holds for me. It could be The Voice. I don't know. I've been thinking about it. Why not? And, it could be playing more shows around town. That would be awesome. And so basically the point is, whatever your passion is and whatever you do in your normal life, if it's not your passion, find a way to bring that passion back in and make it part of your life because it's really important. Thanks.